To be here with you again. We have been bursting at the seams with excitement because we could not wait until this day where we launch the Ornate Peacock collection to everybody. I don't know if you saw it on the website, but it is absolutely amazing. The detail is exquisite. Let's take a look at it. It is so stunning. Now, I don't know if you've seen this, but it is a new revamped peacock collection. So many of you have been asking about it. And we spent some time really just redesigning this to create just that amazing wow factor that you, our crafters, absolutely love. So if you're just joining me, let me know where you're watching from. If you and I have not met, my name is Emma Lou with Heartfelt Creations. And like I said, this beautiful piece of artwork just became available to everybody today. So what am I talking about? The Ornate Peacock collection. The peacock we will be designing with today is called the Ornate Peacock, and it has this beautiful majestic tail with exquisite detail, and then there's this individual spray that you can add to it, which I'm going to show you as well. The die cuts it out beautifully. Then we also have another one. Now when you look at these two, they are facing opposite directions, so you can pair them together. And what do I mean by that? In front of me today, I have lots of beautiful samples created by our wonderful design team from all around the globe. So we'll show you that at the very end. But this is what I mean. You can pop these together. You can use them individually. You can also cut apart these tails and use it as a background spray for, maybe some focal flowers. And last but not least, this is exquisite. Like, you do not want to be without this in your craft room. It is an ornate window that is die cut in 4 pieces, which means really a lot of versatility in how you can cut and layer this, which I'm super excited about. It's like it feels like Christmas all over again, right? So with this one, we are going to get started by coloring this beautiful ornate peacock, and then we'll layer it together on this beautiful opening with this card base. Now, if you are somebody that has not done a lot of coloring, this technique is great. I just recommend that you practice. Or if you are a colorist and you love to do beautiful coloring, you can also do some really exquisite bright pops of coloring with your markers. So you get to choose how you want to create with this. Now, if you are kind of new to coloring with sponge daubers, one of the things that I would recommend that you do is, if you're stamping, so this one was stamped with your Paradise Teal, and then we used a purple and kind of tapped it onto our ink, so we have kind of a varying color in the center there. But what you're going to do is you're going to lay this onto your piece of background paper and then just sponge around those edges. I would, if you're new to this, just do light coloring in the beginning. And you can always go back and put more pressure and more ink on. And if you're not sure how much ink is on your dauber, test on the back, and you can really get a good feeling of how much color you want on that, so you can see how quickly and easily that has some shading. So I kind of start pressing out a little bit harder on the edge, and then I go light and lighter as I go towards the inside. So you can kind of see how that just turns out very beautifully. And then I also added touches of that Paradise Teal into the feathers in the tail. Like, just look at that exquisite beauty. It's so pretty. Just love how that turns out. So what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead then and add little touches of yellow in the center of the flowers. And this is where I don't really how would you say it? Like, I don't focus on like coloring in the inside the lines, right? This is where you get to be an artist and think outside the lines with this. I'm just utilizing the tips of the sponge dauber. And what do I mean by that? We are going to be adding cactus flower next. And when you're using cactus flower, you're going to spill over into the edges of the peacock as well. But it's kind of like a background blending color, so you really won't notice it. So just kind of go in a circular motion over those flowers and over the feathers in the tail where there's a little bit of purple. Now, as you're joining me, let me know what you are excited about with this collection, what you see yourself creating with it. Like, if you're an artist, like, this just, I don't know, I just feel like this speaks to the inner depth of an artist's soul. It's so pretty. And it just brings a smile to your face when you're creating with it. So The great thing about crafting is it's fun for you, and then it also brings joy to the recipient, which is a kind of a twofold blessing, right? So here you have this beautiful piece all colored. If you wanted to then add color to the images that we stamped on vellum, which are these beautiful background pieces that we add to the tail and kind of throughout the card, you can. So I added a little bit of yellow, which is a little bit difficult to see on a camera, but then you can go back and just add a little bit of pops of that cactus flower in there as well. I might do a little bit here. You don't have to do much, just little pops of color. So what I love about this is it looks so exquisite, so elegant, and absolutely stunning, but it's very easy to do. So whether you are an advanced crafter or a beginner, you can do this. We're going to switch gears a little bit, start working on the window, and you're going to be a master artist at creating a stunning window. So when you create, you are going to take your card base. You can cut the card base to a size you prefer. Like you'll see this die used on many card styles, but if you want to open it, you're going to need to have a little bit of a wider card base, okay? So you can go ahead and make that to the size that you want, and just use this die piece to cut out the opening in your card center. And we're going to go ahead and glue this right in the center for the first thing we're going to do. So stamp this piece on white ink with white or clear embossing powder. Sponge the inner edges with your Paradise Teal, glue it to a decorative neutral cardstock, and adhere that to the center of your card to get yourself started with your card base. Now, you'll notice that we stamped the peacock in the background as well, which just adds some beautiful detail to the background of your card base when you are using a white card base as your background. So we'll go ahead and just put that in the center. That's going to get glued into the background there, and then you're ready to get started adding your decorative window on top. So this piece was just stamped with your Paradise Teal, and then you can go back and sponge around those edges to add just a little bit more color. I don't do a lot, just a little bit, to just add a little bit of detail, a little bit of distressing in there. And it's funny because you feel like a master artist when you're just adding these little special touches. Now, I know for those of you that like to do a lot of glitz and glam and artistic decoration, you could add lots of different elements on here to kind of get a really nice distressed look as well. So I'm sure your creative imagination just going off the charts when you look at this. Now, this is the top piece that can be die cut out separately, which I think adds just exquisite beauty and detail to this. And you can make a little bit more of a, like a larger piece right on top. So we're just going to go ahead, or not a larger piece, a 3D piece on top of this, okay? So I am going to go ahead and grab some little foam dots. Do I have some right in front of me? I do. Here we go. So we're just going to add some little foam dots to this piece and add this to the top of our window. So tell me if this is as simple as you thought. Now, I know so many of you have access on Tuesdays. So hopefully if you are an insider member, you've already ordered yours, and yours will be on the way very quickly. If you're not an insider member yet, today's a great day to become one. You can go ahead and become an insider member for $12.99 a month. That gives you 20% off all products, and then you also get to get free shipping on any orders, and you have automatic access to our online classes, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later. So this is that beautiful window image stamped on just a neutral background paper with white ink, white embossing powder, and I am going to cut this apart, and we'll add this to the background. What it does is, since you layered this on some cardstock, it kind of gives this just a little bit extra width. And you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and just trim this base piece off because we really don't need it at the bottom. I'm just looking for it more on the side, so that makes it you don't have to deal with that base piece. So we're just going to go ahead, add some glue to the background here, and bring this off to the side. So you can see how that just kind of adds, it looks like an additional layer. But what you're doing is you're just adding some width, which is really cool. So you can kind of see that. So it just adds a little bit of an extra touch of elegance when you just split that apart. So kind of gives you a really beautiful 3D look. Your next step is going to be adding these window panes to the side, okay? So you are going to go ahead and add these on your sides like this. And I would recommend adding those, let's see. No, let's go ahead and add this one. I was going to say adding these in, but you might get a little bit more covered if you, no, let's do this. Let's do this. You can decide how you want to do it at home. I always kind of waffle at this part. I'm like, do I want to do this part first or this part first? And when I'm doing that, what that really means is it doesn't matter which way you do it first. You can do it either or. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and just sponge a little bit of the cactus flower right on the side. The great news is when we launch a new product collection, you can buy everything individually, or you can just with one click of a button buy the entire collection. You save 10%, and that savings is available until Saturday or while supplies last. If you are an insider member, you get an additional 20% automatically on top of that. So that's why I was saying I would highly recommend, if you're not an insider member, become one first so you have instant access to the savings. You get the free shipping, and you'll also have access to the online class that's happening at the end of the month, which is around a 2-hour-ish class where you get to put together 3 projects with this collection. So it really gets you jump started in using it as well. So I'm just going to pull this window up a little bit so it kind of has a little bit of depth. We're going to use our hot glue, and we're just going to glue this in right away. And I'm going to set it away from the edge just a little bit because we are bringing in our window that's going to kind of cover the top of that. And then we'll do the same thing on the opposite side. So super, super easy to add this beautiful window fixture to your card bases. And at the end, I'll show you variations. There's so many variations on how this window was altered to fit on so many different card sizes and different pieces cut from it, where, like right here, looks like a frame. And that's more of a slim card going this direction. So that's super, super pretty. Love, love how that came together. So we'll just go ahead and glue this window piece in as an accent. And you have that card base pretty much ready for embellishing. Isn't that so pretty? Okay, so now here we go. So this tail of this peacock, you can do it many different ways. If you wanted to cut it and just kind of extend it, you can. You can do lots of different variations with that, which I think are super, super stunning. So I'm going to go ahead and do some of that. So you can see, like right in here, this little swirl right here comes down a little bit further. So I am going to just detach that, and we'll just cut this off here. So think about that when you are looking to alter, so you can kind of do some cool details with that. So as you can see, you'll fit that in, and then you can pull that this part down a little bit. And you could even do more altering of that as well. But you can go ahead and just kind of pull this out, do a little bit of curvature on the body of the peacock, and then you can kind of pull these up as well. And just kind of manipulate it so that you can kind of have a little bit of texture in there how you desire. Now when I go to glue these accents down, since this is a card opening, I do like to put like a piece of just scrap paper in the middle so that you don't accidentally glue your card shut. Yes, that's not fun. You don't want to do that. You spend all this time creating this beautiful card and then we glue it shut is a disappointment. I'm sure none of you has ever done that, but just in case. So we're going to kind of glue down that belly, and then we'll pop the peacock's head up, and then you can go ahead and you can layer these pieces of just decorative swirls in where you feel like it needs it. So I'm going to go ahead and bring this one in, just kind of the background of this peacock. So right in this section. Tell me what you love about what you're learning, when you kind of have that aha moment, what you love about this beautiful ornate peacock window and the card. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and snip this piece apart right in here and just alter this. I'm going to clip this flower off. We're going to split this in here. And then you can kind of bring this in however you like. I'm just going to add a little bit of glue up here. We're just going to tuck that into the tail and kind of underneath so you can't see. I know it's kind of hard to see that, right? So that you can't see like where that cut edge is. So you kind of cover that cut edge in the background there, and then you can go ahead and bring in another piece. Let's bring this one. Let's see if we can slide it in this little section right there. There we go. Isn't that pretty? I just love how that turns out. Ah, so pretty, so pretty. And then where did my little, I was like, where did my other little tail go? Here's this little tail. I'm going to go ahead and glue this one down next. So you have a little bit of a control over how that comes down in there. And then you can also utilize this little spray. Just pull off the flower and just kind of pop this little piece in the bottom. And so that just makes it a little bit longer and narrow as that comes down. So many variations just based on how you want to put yours together. Once you're done, you can just pull that apart and you have your beautiful card. The sentiment, you can do different aspects of that. We took this sentiment that says "with all my love," cut it apart, and we just layered it here on the side, or you could have also layered it in the center here too. So it's totally up to you and how you want to add that. So hopefully that inspires you on some ways that you can get started creating your own Ornate Peacock cards. Before I go, I wanted to show you the beautiful samples followed by the paper collection. Oh my goodness. So this is one way. Here's another way with a more of a narrow card, just going straight up and down with the other peacock, using some of the same techniques I just showed you. Here is one using it on a smaller card with the window extending, adding the gold accent, gold feathers. And then I love how this peacock is just stamped in the background and is in the background of that window. And we've seen this one before, super pretty with those peacocks both being used. Here the feathers were cut and tucked in, so it is more narrow. So you can really do so much with those in how you layer them. This one I wanted to point out where we use the top of the window and the bottom of the window. So you can use those on both sides, and then you can also utilize it on a shaped card as well. How stunning is that? This, you can also just do white on white with some soft, subtle accent colors, or you can do bright, bold, and vibrant. Like, just look at that beautiful peacock sitting with that brown window, using it as a shaker in the background, or you can pair it with the garden lilies that we launched in January. So lots of beautiful ways to use these, the easy way, right? So here we have that beautiful Ornate Peacock, and then using the tops of the windows as accents on the side. And if you love using your slimline cards, you can pop it on your slimline, add a feathery accent on the side, and you've got a stunning card. So I'm sure your mind is just popping with all sorts of creative ideas. And hey, I mean, it's February. I don't know where you're from. We're right in the middle of winter, and sometimes you just need that bright pop of color brought into your craft room that just brings a smile and jumpstarts your creativity. And you just go running to your other crafting friends and say, look at what I made. Actually, I would love to see who is going to share some of their first projects with us right here on Facebook or social media. Share with us when you get your box. If you want to show us the pictures of your box when it arrives, we'd love to see that as well. I love how this one was paired together. So you'll see the beautiful window in kind of more of a traditional color, but then that ornate peacock just really pops, and then you've got the sentiment. So I just thought that was a stunning way to just really beautifully bring that together as well. Here's another one that I felt like it was a similar version, but it has like a shaker window. You've got those beautiful colored peacock in the front with flowers and your sentiment. So lots of variations just based on how you want to pair it together, mix and match. And I love how it really fits on so many different card bases as well. So the paper collection, oh my goodness. So you've got your card bases, you've got your little pieces of tags, the background papers. We have some that are more have more patterns on them, and then we have some that are more like neutral colors that you can use for matting. I know it's difficult to know which one you're going to be creating with. Here we've got some windows. The bright colors will be cut out if you choose to do that. So you can really layer 6x6, super beautiful. I can't wait to see what you create with this and experience the joy of making beautiful projects in your craft room with this collection, and then also seeing the joy when your friends receive these as well. Now, there's a couple different ways that you can access the online class and also get this. So you can buy any of the Ornate Peacock products individually, but now until Saturday, you can buy it with one click of a button. You get all the items I just showed you. You save 10%. If you are an insider member, you save an additional 20%, and our insider members that are in the US get free shipping. If you are one of our international crafting friends, you get an additional 20% off of your shipping charges, which is awesome. But this is the benefit that our insider members absolutely love, and that is the fact that they have access to the online class that is happening at the end of the month. That class is jam-packed with 3 different projects that will be featuring all things Ornate Peacock, plus some other techniques with decorative dies and some flowers and all that fun stuff. So if you are an insider member, you have automatic access to that class. It runs 2-ish hours in length. It's valued at $30, and you also have access to a class, online classes. It's like a vault of like over 50, I think, when you are an insider member. So become an insider member. You have access to all those benefits, and you can get your Ornate Peacock collection ordered, and we'll get that out as soon as possible. Let me know in the comments what you love. Until next time, have fun creating with your Ornate Peacock collection. Bye!